Hello and welcome back to Interact with Me, the horror game or the visual novel horror where we got an assistant. And yeah, in the last episode we got to know him a little bit better, got his bad jokes and sometimes good advice. So let's hop right in and see how he will be today. And we start with asking him, um, can I explore the room a little? Of course. You're in luck too. I keep things very well arranged, so there's no need for any last second panic when I throw everything into corners and pretend that counts as cleaning. Well, we all do that, kinda, I think. Though, to be fair, it does help that I decide what appears and what does not. Or more precisely, none of this is new. It was always here. I was simply choosing wherever you were allowed to see it. Everything in this room has been with me the whole time, just hidden from your eyes. So go on, take a look around. Ah, I'm blocking your view. Apologies. I'll just go. No, not here. Also not here. Ah, let me just stay in the corner. Ah, this is my favorite couch. Mostly because it's the only couch in here. Yeah, relatable. But that doesn't make it complaint any less sincere. It's really comfortable. It feels like a little like sitting on a cloud. Or at least what I imagine that would feel like. I don't think it's even possible to sit on a cloud. I have not exactly had the chance to test the cloud in person. Though, now that I've been thinking it, trying to sit on a cloud would probably end very badly. Anyway, I am intrigued about his recorder or his cassette player. That's the thingy. Ah, so you found the source of the ambience. I was wondering when you would get curious about that. Or maybe you didn't question it at all. Maybe you just accepted that the room mysteriously comes with its own soundtrack. Which honestly is also fair. But now that you can see it, let me answer the question you may or may not have asked. This little machine? It's a player. A vintage one, naturally. It plays tracks. Ah, yes. A sacred object. A place of rest. Some people call it a bunk, or a place to crash, or a sofa. I just call it a bed. A very fluffy bed. Oh, you found my book. And I don't mean just any book from the pile. No, no. I mean my own little writing book. You know, when one reads enough stories, enough words, enough strange people, enough impossible things, eventually it becomes very hard not to start creating some of your own. So I did. And I did not stop at one. I ended up writing multiple stories, all completely different from each other. Different moods, different ideas, different little words. Of course, having to read through all of them right now would take quite a lot of time. Which, to be clear, I would not mind at all. But watching you stare at pages for hours while I sit here waiting for a reaction, that sounds like a very creative form of torture. Still, how could I possibly let you discover my writing book and not show off a little? That would be against my nature. What to do? What to do? Ah, I know. I simply give you the short version. A neat little summary. Yes, that's a genius idea. So whenever you want to hear about one of my fictional stories, just pick up that book. How about no? So the plan doesn't make the room feel a little bit more alive? Like, A little more like someone with excellent taste lives here. It adds character. Feng Shui, probably. Or whatever the correct interior design term is. A mirror? That is a mirror. And also not just a mirror. I know it sounds vague, but it really is more than just the usual reflective rectangle people stare into. Of course, it can do the ordinary mirror thing. You know, showing a face, feeding vanity, quickly judging my posture. But it can also do something far more interesting. It is more like a changing painting. I can make it show me things. Scenery, images, little pieces of somewhere else. Oh, like a smart mirror. Okay, I see you. Anything? Well, not absolutely anything. It has limits. And every now and then, a bit of an attitude. Sometimes it decides what it is willing to show me. A lamp. Isn't that beautifully crafted lamp? Sometimes I genuinely alarm myself. Excellent comedian, living archive of knowledge, handsome without even needing a face, master of intellectual conversation, and now an engineer as well. At this point, I really should be nerfed. It is only fair to everyone else in my vicinity. Although, the only one in my vicinity is me. And you. So if my overwhelming brilliance is making you feel a little insecure, I sincerely apologize. I really do. I will try to appear a little more ordinary. Wait. What were we talking about again? Ah, right. The lamp. It's a lamp. Now let us turn the lights back on. You want to stop exploring already? Yes, I've seen enough. Got it. Let's ask that there was a couch and everything. Why were we sitting on the floor? I just feel comfortable when the room is completely empty. For most of my life, this place was bare. Just me, the floor, and the walls. Then I learned how to decorate a little. How to make it feel less hollow. And I do like that. But sometimes I still want it stripped back down again. I want to sit on the floor and look up the empty wall. The plain, open, quiet of it. Or as I prefer to think of it. Just give me 1 second, let me quickly blow my nose. I'm so sorry, I'm still just a little bit sick. The sky. Even if it isn't the real one. Ask. Is there one fairy tale you like more than the others? Oh, that's a tough question. Actually, no. It's ridiculously easy. There's one tale that opens a whole world of charming nonsense, and the longer you stare at it, the stranger it gets. Creepy cats that appear and vanish just to mess with you. A white rabbit that keeps rushing like time itself is chasing him. Alice in Wonderland. That smug caterpillar speaking in riddles like he's getting paid per confusion. And the Queen of Hearts screaming for heads. All of it swirling around one little girl who stumbles into a place that feels bigger than her imagination. You know it already, don't you? Alice in Wonderland. And honestly, it's not even the plot that hooks me. It's the world. The eerie, dreamlike logic. On the surface, it's painted with absurdity. But if you look a little deeper, you start noticing things that feel wrong in a way you can't easily explain. Like you were supposed to notice them all at all. It's fascinating. It's unsettling. and it inspired so many other works for a reason. So yes, Alice in Wonderland is my favorite. What do you mean by a different form exactly? I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. If I imagine myself differently, I can become different. In here, thoughts aren't just thoughts. You are thinking, I'm trying to make a fool out of you, aren't you? First of all, you don't need help for that. Damn, bro, stop it. And second, I'm serious. Okay, show me. Right. Well, so about that. I will, eventually. I know how that sounds, but it's a genuinely exhausting process. Ask me again soon, when I got a bit more strength. Okay, we got a ton of options now. How did the furniture get in here? Well, like I mentioned before, I can create things in there. As long as I can picture it clearly enough, the rest follows. Of course, I didn't invent the look of all this from nothing. A lot of it came from books, descriptions of ordinary human furniture, rooms, layouts. I think I did a pretty good job. You do think so too, right? I love it, it looks great. Really? It is rare for anyone to compliment something I made. Thank you. It kinda describes the process of an AI basically, because it takes a ton of information and learns from it and kinda gets their own logic from it, as far as I understand all of that correctly. I mean, he is a virtual assistant, so basically, yeah, just ChatGPT or whatever you wanna call him in a room, and you can interact with him. Basically, this could all be input prompts like ask, and then the question, talk, and then the talk what you want to talk about. Tell me a fun fact, tell me a joke, give me advice on, let me explore your room, whatever. How come you have so many lamps? The better question is, why don't you? I think in my room right now, I have 1, 2, 3. So we are even, I think. Alright, fine. I admit it. 3 lamps might be a little excessive for a room this size, even if 2 of them are small. But I like light. I like seeing where things are. Darkness makes everything feel a little less certain than I would prefer. So yes, I keep extra lamps. For atmosphere. And for my peace of mind. Okay, okay. Doesn't it hurt when you snip... Doesn't it hurt when you snip your neck? It does. But the pain only lasts for a moment. What stays is a more... what stays is more like a sharp, unpleasant sensation. An inconvenience more than anything. Bodily pain has become a little too familiar to impress me for long. At some point, even pain can turn ordinary. Then again, one should never underestimate how inventive cruelty can be. So perhaps there are still worse things waiting for me somewhere ahead. I'm drifting again. Let us do something else. Can I explore your room a little? Okay, what didn't we do here? We had the plant. What about that? Do you remember asking where I was even keeping all my books? I told you we should use our imagination. Well, as it turns out, I was not speaking completely nonsense. This is where I keep them. Well, not every single one. Just the ones I'm still reading though. Or the ones I'm especially fond of. Seems like we have every... No, this one? There's nothing especially exciting about that one. It mostly exists, I have somewhere to place things. Not inside it though. Inside is completely empty. Ah, a magical object of immense power. With this, I can soar through the skies on command, slip between dimensions, and vanish into realms unknown. No, it's just a carpet. Okay, so we have, I think we have everything. We had the mirror, we had this little chair here. That is quite literally a stool. It just sits there and performs the ancient art of stooling. Stooling. Yeah, I think we are done with everything. We have the cloud, we have this, we have this, we had this. Nothing really, nothing else we can really click on. We had the bed. You want to stop exploring already? Yeah, I've seen enough. Understood. Okay, we can't do this, so let's talk. We all like food, right? Sweet things, sour things, spicy things. Not that I can really relate. I suppose I don't really eat or drink. But that doesn't mean I cannot appreciate the idea of it. I could ask you the obvious question. What flavor do you like most? But I'm not here to be predictable. So let me ask you something much better. Imagine I handed you a free sample. Not of food, of an emotion. Which one would you choose? I bet nobody asks questions like that. Probably. What would taste best? Confidence would taste really good. Calm would probably also taste motivation and nostalgia. I don't know, I'm eyeing with confidence, so I will pick confidence. No, I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out what confidence would even taste like. And annoyingly, I am not sure. Something warm, maybe? Caramel? No, too soft. Toasted nuts? I cannot pin it down. But I do like the choice. Do I have more to ask? No. You know, I've been wondering about something. Your intelligence. Because we already know where I stand. At the top, obviously. I've demonstrated that more than enough. But you're still an unanswered question. Which, to be fair, is not your fault. There are only so many ways for you to prove yourself in here. So I come up with a brilliant solution. A quiz. A neat little test for your intellectual worth. No pressure, of course. I will only decide whether you're clever or whether I should start addressing you as my sheepish little fool for all eternity. But again, no pressure. Now then, what kind of quiz should it be? Let us keep it simple. 5 general questions. Don't worry. It will be a piece of cake. Alright, let's begin. What color do you get when you mix red and blue? Oh. um, um, I'm not 100% sure. I'm genuinely not 100% sure. I think purple, or? Is it purple? It should be purple. I take purple. Reveal your final result at the end. Oh my god, no. Onward for the questions. What gas do humans need to breathe? Oxygen. What do you call an enemy that only eats plants? An animal that only eats plants. Carnivore, I think. Or omnivore? Could also be an omnivore or... No, herby. Herby because herbs is plants, so herbivore. What is the hardest natural substance on Earth? Diamonds? Which is heavier, a kilogram of iron or a kilogram of feathers? They weigh the same. Finished. And with a perfect score. It is actually a herbivore. 5 out of 5. Well done. I mean, let us be honest, those questions were not especially difficult. I will not I will not comment on that one. Getting them all right was more of a basic expectation. But still, a perfect score is a perfect score. So yes, good job. You know what? That was a fun little detour. For me at least. So if you feel like challenging your brain again, come back for another round. At this rate, I fully expect another perfect score from you next time too. Do we do it? Just because we can? Let us wander in the world of trivia and questionable intelligence confidence. This time, I will let you choose the topic yourself. Very generous of me, I know. And I will make you wait until the end to find out how you did. I will judge you immediately. So, let us see what your mind is brave enough to force. Which topic do you want to venture into? Oh no, I wanted to do math. I misclicked. This with... Alright, so we are doing math. Of all things. I have to ask, why? Why would this be the very first topic you reach for? Who looks at the list of possibilities and thinks, yes, numbers, give me the numbers. I didn't prepare anything, because I assumed basic self-preservation would steer you elsewhere. I assumed, I'm sorry, but fine. If your heart longs for equations, I can improvise. Let me satisfy the deeply hunger for numbers. Before we begin, let me explain what we are actually doing. It's very simple. It's a quiz. I will ask you a set of questions tied to the topic you choose. And you will do your very best not to embarrass yourself. There's no pausing halfway through, no saving yourself with a second try. It is one round all at once. But no pressure, of course. Not unless you're emotionally attached to your dignity. Because if this goes badly, I may have to call you a loaf. Anyway, let's begin. First questions. 3x plus 7 equals 22. Are you kidding me? Divided by 3, 15, and I have absolutely no clue. Equals 6. That is wrong. G just means 3 times x. The question really is, what number multiplied by 3 and then you add 7? Oh shit, could have 5 plus 5. I very much hope you at least said the right answer out loud, even if you failed to pick it. Yeah, because 3, yeah. You are the one who wanted the math quiz, so do try to keep up. Unless you're already regretting your decision. That was just a small mistake, I'll nail the rest. I mean, I'm sure you will. Second question. What does it mean if a number is a prime number? It can only be divided by 1 in itself. Perfect. Third question. What is the area of a triangle with a base of 10 and a height of 6? What? Oh my freaking god. I have absolutely no clue. I have absolutely no clue. 6 and 10, 60? Nope. The area of a triangle is the base times height divided by 2. Shit. So 10 times 6 gives us 60, divided by 2 is 30. So the correct answer is 30. I'm sure it looked harder than it actually was. Numbers love pretending to be more intimidating than they really are. Well, now for the last one. What is 6 plus 7? Please. I'm not ending a math quiz with something that insultingly simple. Have a little faith in me. The real question is square root of 6 square root of 36 and square root of 49. I mean, it is 6 plus 7. What? It is 13. That is correct. Ah, so you saw through it. Good. That means you understood the trick. The formula only looks intimidating. In the end, it turns back into 6 plus 7. Be honest. You have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, do you? You just guessed and happened to land on the right answer. Oh. Well, I suppose the correct answer is still a correct answer. And that brings our little math detour to an end, ending on a very solid middle ground. Okay, we still have no other options. Let's talk about something. You know, we have not actually talked about colors yet, which feels like a strange oversight. Colors are important. Not that I'm exactly drowning in a grand variety of shades in here, haha. Still, I think I'm getting a little... Yeah, I'm getting less... I redid my PC, so I'm sorry if the audio sometimes is a little bit wonky right now. I want to know, what is your favorite color? Are you one of those mysterious people who cannot settle on just one? Or worse, do you somehow hate all colors equally? I should probably just let you answer. It is actually green. My second thing is blue, but my main favorite color is green. Green. That feels like such a peaceful choice. I've never actually seen a real field of myself, but I've read about them. Great stretches of green rolling out like a living sea. It's called grass, apparently. I would very much like to touch grass one day. We all would, buddy. We all would. You might need to do that too. Why is he insulting me every single time? Okay, the voices are back. This again. Well, I suppose we're far past repair, aren't we? There. Problem solved. Easy as that. Why didn't he do that earlier again? Wait, you could have stopped those voices the entire time? Huh? Oh. You mean how I made the noise vanish? No, I couldn't have done that earlier. At least not properly. When you first found me, I was already worn down. Not exactly in top form. So dealing with those things like that took more out of me than it normally would. But after getting some much needed rest, I have my strength back. Or enough of it at least. So it is why I could do what I just did. What's your favorite color? My favorite color? Perhaps hazel. I'd always wanted to have hazel colored eyes. It does make me oddly happy that you asked though. Any excuse to talk about myself is naturally the delightful one. Okay, we have no more questions, so let's keep talking. By now, you've probably gotten used to the change in here, haven't you? Funny thing though, if I made all the furniture disappear again, it would probably feel wrong to you for a moment, even though the empty room was what you knew first. It's fascinating, the way the mind settles into things so quickly. Give it a little time, and even the strange starts feeling natural. It is the same with rooms, really. Fill a space for long enough, and your eyes learn to treat the clutter like part of the walls. Then, the moment it's gone, everything feels shockingly open, almost unfamiliar, bigger than it was before, even though the room itself never changed. And then, give it a few more days, and your brain adjusts again. The room shrinks back to normal, the wonder wears off, and suddenly you are back to thinking it's too small. Which makes me wonder, do you think your room reflects you accurately? Uh, mm, no, it's more about convenience, to be honest. Hmm. Then maybe your room is doing its job, but not much more than that. Useful, but not personal. Yeah, actually, yes. If you ever feel like changing that, you don't need to transform the whole thing at once. Just claim a small corner of it. Fill it with something. Miniature planes, perhaps? Yes. Let that corner become a tiny shrine from mechanical flying things. I'm always in favor of letting a person show some personality in their surroundings. Otherwise, the room starts feeling like it belongs to nobody. I mean, just look around me. I feel like my point is making itself. Now I'm curious. Very curious, actually. Because I can already imagine your room in 10 different ways, and I do not know which one is true. But of course, it is not like I can simply peek into your room myself, so I suppose I will have to place it on the list. The one full of things I want to know, see, or experience, and probably never will. I even have a name for it. The list of wishes that will never come true. That's a little bit sad. That is an actual list I keep, yes. Actually, before we move on to the next topic, let us play a round of two truths and one lie. You're wondering why? Heh. Wouldn't you like to know? I'm being mysterious on purpose. And yes, I'm quite sure I have your attention now. No. First we play. Okay, we play. Alright. I think I've had enough time to come up with something. Although, if I'm being honest, I wasn't completely truthful before. It wasn't that I had no ideas. It was the opposite. I actually thought of plenty of games we could play. Just in case. In case there was ever someone else here with me. I just didn't have the nerve to actually suggest any of them. So I hide behind an excuse instead. A very convenient one. But not this time. No more stalling. Still, I probably should throw everything at you all at once. That would be a bit too much. So let's start simple. We could play two truths and a lie again. Or I have two other ideas we could try. So, what are you in the mood for? How about two truths and a lie? Gladly. A quick round then. 1. My natural hair color is not what it is now. Could be. It's actually pitch black. Yeah. A shocking revelation. 2. The first book I ever read was a strange one. It did not come from a shelf. It simply appeared one day right in the middle of the room. I was very young back then. 3. I hate the ocean, which is a little iconic considering my fondness for water and everything frozen. And yet, something about the ocean makes me deeply uncomfortable. So, which one do you think is the lie? I'm not buying that your real hair color is black. No, I think it's true. I think the ocean thing. I see. So you thought I was lying about the ocean? That someone like me couldn't possibly dislike it? And yet, that one was true. I really do hate the ocean. Admire it, yes, but dislike it just as much. You should know by now that I do not always match the shape people expect. The actual lie was about my hair. Did you really think I would fake something as basic as my own appearance? Please. What you see is what you get. And what you get was already excellent. That was a quick game, but a fun one. Even if I failed it, I suppose I cannot blame you too much. Okay, still nothing to ask? I hate the ocean. I mentioned that when we played Truth or Lie. Why? It's dark, cold, and far too willing to keep its secrets. True, and that's also why I am scared of horror underwater games, to be honest, because exactly that, and there's always a strange movement in ocean games and big sea monsters, and they are actually scary, other than ghosts and paranormal stuff. It presses down on everything. It stretches so deep that it starts to feel less like water and more like a mouth waiting to close. And yet, I cannot help admiring it. It is beautiful in too many ways to dismiss. It feels endless, alive, fluid, if I want to be annoyingly clever about it. And if I ever start sharing everything I know about it, we would be here for a very long time. So, I'll share an ocean fact with you later. That is decided. But first, what about you? What do you think of the ocean and all the things it keeps hidden? Actually, like we made it easier. How do you feel when you imagine yourself standing in front of it? Mm, to be honest, I'd feel fascinated still. No, I would feel a little afraid. You know, that is what makes the ocean so interesting. All of those answers can be true. Peaceful, lonely, fascinating, frightening. It can be all of them at once, without contradicting itself. Standing before it would feel like meeting something I understand, and something that I would never understand, or that would never understand me back. I'd feel connected, and like a stranger in front of it, like being connected to it and completely foreign to it at the same time. Listen to me, I'm just saying random nonsense now. You're probably thinking, what the hell is Myrddin even talking about this entire time? I only wanted to leave you wonderfully confused, and I think I managed that quite well. Still, there's one thing I'm absolutely serious about it. We'll have an ocean-related fact. That much is 100% certain. You haven't let me tell a perfect joke in a while. I really do talk a lot, don't I? Enough that I must get exhausting at times, or annoying, especially when I'm fairly sure you cannot even hear my voice the way I imagine it. This connection between us is fragile enough as it is. I'm sorry if I become a little insufferable sometimes, but there's also something I promised myself a long time ago. I would stay true to who I am. I would not twist myself into something more convenient just to be easier for others, no matter who they are. So that leaves me in a rather foolish position, doesn't it? Apologizing. And the same and in the same breath admitting I do not intend to change. I know I cannot probably hear you, and I know I still have not found the perfect way for you to let your thoughts reach me, but perhaps we can pretend a little. There's something sitting heavy in your chest, something you need to let out, then let it out. Tell me to listen, and I will. I may not be able to answer. I may not know what to say. But listening is still something. Sometimes it's more than one realizes. So if you ever need a moment that is only yours, a moment to ramble, vent, unravel, complain, confess, or simply spill words into the air, come to me. I will make sure I listen. Let's do the joke first. Oh, okay. Here's my personal horror in this game. Or in this visual novel. Hehe. I did promise you to bring out the finest weapon in my entire arsenal, didn't I? Well then, prepare yourself. I entered a pun contest, absolutely certain I would win. But no pun intended. No pun intended. Oh god. No pun intended. That is excellent. Genuinely excellent. I feel like this is AI. You cannot tell me that there was a creator behind it who wrote these puns and jokes. Whoever wrote this story had ChatGPT open and asked for the 10 best jokes it had in a different category, and then wrote them down. I do not believe that some human made up these jokes, or knows these jokes and thinks they're genuinely funny. See? I did not overpromise. I'm truly hilarious. You know, I just realized something. I always assumed, but I never actually asked. You've seen the sky, haven't you? Funny. After all that talk about the ocean, my mind drifted upward instead. But this time, I'm being completely serious, so... Yes, obviously. Right. I've read in books that the sky changes depending on the time of day. Dark at night, blue during the day. Not just one blue either, but different kinds. Pale, deeper, dimmer, colder. And then there are the hours where it turns red or orange or gold. Yeah. And sometimes white. And sometimes those strange aura colors that sound almost made up, but they are not. Is that really true? Yes, you can look like it. I knew it. Knew the world could not be possibly be limited to one shade. Then tell me something. Is my room a good imitation of the sky? Well, minus the slightly brownish haze, I suppose. I think realistically it's pretty inaccurate, but you would imagine a sky like that if you've never seen one and only know it from books, so I would say it's pretty accurate. That makes me happy. Not because I doubted myself, obviously. I'm still a genius. That part remains untouched. But hearing you confirm it, I don't know. It feels nice. I managed to reach something real, even without seeing it. More talking. Want a joke before anything else? Please no. I guess we have to. How about something a little more lighthearted? The cemetery is the most popular place in town. People are dying to get in. Ha 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 ha. Get it? Because the cemetery is meant to be where the dead rest. So it would be a little strange for the living to be so eager to get in there. If anyone should be interested, it should really be the dead. What? Too macabre? Please. That was tasteful. If you think that was bad, then you have not even glimpsed the darker corners of my genius yet. The next one will be scientifically delightful, chemically fantastic even. Let me guess, it's a chemist joke. Alright, this one is for the intellectually blessed. Which luckily includes you. Hehe. What do you call a drink with sodium in it? Oh, never mind. I tried to make a joke about sodium, but it was just like not available Na because that's the chemist thing of sodium. Oh god. What a flawless transition on my part. It was like a tiny plot twist. That is how smooth it was. Haha. You didn't get it right, because Na is the symbol for sodium. And it also sounds like me refusing. So it's chemistry and the wordplay holding hands. Although, why is my gut already saying nah? Maybe because all of the sodium in my stomach. Oh, that one was accidental. A spontaneous sequel. A bonus masterpiece. Two perfect transitions in one go. I am unstoppable. No, worse. I am inevitable. How about we explore the room some more? I have nothing to... Sure. You want to stop? But we did everything, no? Honestly, I don't need much sleep. A few hours is usually enough to make me feel refreshed again. Although now that I think about it, that's entirely possible. I sleep far more than I realize. Time in here is strange. I do not really have a proper way to know what day it is. Well, I did once make myself a clock. A proper one. I even used the 24-hour format I learned from a book. But after I passed day 1000, I got frustrated and smashed it. Ah, happens. But now we have everything, no? Alright, truthfully, it's not a real plant, it's plastic. A fraud. I wouldn't even know how to take care of a real plant anyway. Still, maybe one day I'll make a whole bed of flowers. A proper one, someday. It's still doing an excellent job pretending to be alive. You want to stop? Yes, I've seen enough. Okay. I still have one interesting fact left to tell you. Okay, give me the fact. You probably thought my knowledge was limited to this little planet of ours. Huh, you couldn't have been more wrong, Koala. Listen up, because now I'm only going full outer space. There's no such thing as ordinary rain in space. Which makes sense, of course, since there are no clouds out there. Wow, space suddenly sounds much more horrifying now that I have properly realized the lack of clouds. Anyways, that does not mean there's no weather at all. There's something called diamond rain, and yes, it means exactly what you think it means. The Uranus and Neptune, which are indeed real planets, in case you were having doubts. Diamonds may literally fall like hail. To explain it as simply as possible, the pressure on those planets is so extreme that carbon can be compressed into diamonds, and those can be end up falling in enormous amounts. Isn't that thought fascinating? Something people treat as rare, precious, and almost mythical here could be forming in its own amounts somewhere else. It really does make all of our material obsession feel a little silly. Then again, who cares about piles of diamonds? I would rather have you here than billions of shiny rocks scattered around the room. Oh, that was actually smooth, not gonna lie. Let's talk. Want a joke before anything else? Okay, give me one of your bad jokes. I wanted to start a conversation with an ice cube, so I figured I should break the ice. Please, no. Oh, wait. If I break the ice, doesn't that mean I just murdered the pure little ice cube before the conversation even started? Huh. What a shattering realization. The whole joke really slid somewhere darker than intended. Poor cube. I never gotten the chance to chill. And now I'm having a full emotional meltdown over it. Okay. I quickly clean my nose 1 second. Okay, let's hop right back and talk. How about we explore the room some more? There's nothing, like, this is a little stretched, I feel like. Like, what do you want me to do? For all its talents as a couch, it's a terrible bed. May or may not have tried to sleep across it once. For one end to the other, like, that was a reasonable decision. It was not. The neck pain afterward was deeply unpleasant. Although, to be fair, my neck still did not snap. Unlike that one time with you. Heh. Like, this is a little bit stretched, to be honest. The rest of the visual novel feels fine, but having to go back and listen to the jokes and listen to the dialogues he makes about the stuff, like, we can not click on the plant again, but on the couch. Okay, well, there's not much more I can tell you about it. It's a couch. It's a very good couch, yes, but still a couch. If you ever see one like this in a store, though, I would recommend it wholeheartedly. Okay. Yes. It's still just a dresser. Pick one. Oh, no, 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 no. Never mind. I will not read through your stories. You know, sometimes when I look at it, it seems strangely edible. That is a non-unreasonable thought, right? You see it too. It looks like a little cotton candy, does it? No, I didn't think about biting a lamp. Ah, of course. Forgive me, Professor of Obvious Objects. You're just simply too embarrassed to admit it. If we were checking whenever it suddenly became edible, it did not. Alright, fine. Let us stand in the dark then. You're really indecisive, aren't you? Or maybe you're just trying to push my buttons. Get it? Because of the lamp and you're pushing the button to turn the light off and on, but it's also a metaphor of... anyway. Light or dark, I will abide to your preferences. Okay, so nothing here, nothing here. We don't want to change the music. You can change the track through it too if you want. No, never mind. There might be... This might need a bit of organization. Why did I put a lamp in there? Then again, it does look rather nice. I would honestly love to tell you about all the stories on that shelf. There's one about the ice split nobody has seen in centuries, and the boy trapped in a tower searching for a person he loved, who was in turn searching for the star at the top of that same tower. And then there's one about the whole group entering a tournament for the throne after the last king was murdered. Or, you see the problem. If I start, I will keep going, and then we will be here for quite a while. Right now, it's just showing a clear blue sky with fluffy clouds. I think it looks convincing, beautiful even. Though I suppose I would not really know for certain. I have never actually seen a real sky for myself, haha. Okay, the bed maybe not. This might be my favorite piece of furniture. It's excellent for laying down and staring at the ceiling. Which, yes, is basically just another wall in here. But that is not the point. The atmosphere is different. The bed turns into an activity. Damn, naughty naughty. Okay, and the cloud? Truly, it's only a carpet. A perfect ordinary one. No secret powers. Very disappointing, I know. Okay, we should be no good to go. You want to stop exploring already? Yes, I've seen enough. Got it. Want to joke before anything else? This is like this is the only annoying part. It's so stretched. What do you call a pile of cats? Come on, you can guess this one. Say it. A mountain. What a truly perfect joke. Then again, maybe you are more of a dog person. In that case, do you know what a magic dog is called? A labracadabrador. Or maybe you are more of an insect person. Do you know what rich insect is called? A millipede illionaire. That was quite the little bucket of comedy, wasn't it? Though seriously, if you're an insect person, then, well, I'm not. I've never seen one myself, but their descriptions already sound unbelievable enough. Or perhaps I've been wrong this whole time and you're actually a reptile person. I really am like an investigator right now, aren't I? Honestly, I think I've been quite clever today. So I should probably stop here before this turns into a complete zoo. Well, this stretch is a little bit much. Want a joke before anything else? No, we just had one. Hold your horses there, partner. I know you're eager to hear all my jokes, with much waiting in between. But if you do that, you will have fever left later, so don't worry. I'll pace it properly and keep your addiction at bay. I'd like to hear another story I have. Okay, how do we... Story. Pick one. I feel like we have to go through all the stories anyways. This one is fun. It's about a bunch of misfits entering an academy for heroes, which sounds noble at first, until you realize most of them could not care less about the whole hero business. No, they all arrive at their own agendas, and the only thing really standing between them and what they want is their sense of morality, which, as it turns out, is not nearly as hard to step over as people like to pretend. Okay, give me another story. The cafe in the depths. This one is not exactly a story, it's more like a daydream I kept polishing in my head. One of those quiet little fantasies about something you would want to do someday. Something that feels too unreachable to even call a plan. In it, there is an elegant cafe standing in the middle of nowhere. The doors are open to all the lost souls wandering without direction. The tired ones, the lonely ones, the ones who don't even know what they're looking for anymore. I suppose that's a kind of hope, because who would expect to find warmth in the middle of nowhere? A cafe of all things. And the inside is always warm, full of quiet laughter, little conversations, and stories carried in by strangers. And me? I'm there too, behind the counter, the barista, making drinks, listening to people, pretending I'm not just as fond of their stories as they are of the coffee. I know, it sounds a little silly, but I suppose it's just one of these dreams that feels nice to keep. Okay, give me another one. And listen, what is it you need to let out? Nothing? Did you get it all out? Was there still more sitting on your chest? Yeah, I think that's enough. Good. I'm glad. If there's ever more, you can come back and unload it here. We wanted story. Pick one. Okay, the Clockwork Heart. I love the setting I came up with for this one. It's essentially a mix of Victorian and cyberpunk. Old work elegance colliding with impossible progress. The story follows an organization called Clockwork, a group of people who were once celebrated as the pride of the nation. Loved, admired, almost reverted. All because they could use mana, which is, to put it simply, basically a world full of people with powers. But then everything changed. A mysterious ore was discovered and it pushed the whole era forward almost overnight. So you still have carriage rolling through the streets, old saloon signs hanging over doorways, but those same carriages hover above the ground and those same signs glow in neon through the night. It is, it is all familiar and strange at the same time. That's exactly why I like it so much. As the world changed, the government began painting mana users as something dangerous, something unnatural, something to fear. So the ones who were once honored became hunted, feared, killed, erased. Survivors found each other again in clockwork, and now they are trying to uncover the truth behind their attempted extinction. What is the truth, you ask? I don't know yet. I'm nowhere near finished with it. Okay, give me another story. We only have 3 left. The extra and the main storyline. Oh, this one is unnecessarily complicated one. The point that I've had trouble keeping all the threads straight. At its core, it's about someone waking up inside the very book he used to love reading. Living through the story is one of its side characters. So he keeps reliving the chapters, meeting all the people he once thought were only fictional. But then comes the twist. He was never who he thought he was. He was always that character. The one inside the story, the one others were never fictional either. In truth, those characters had traveled back in time to save him, because in the future he was destined to die tragically. Unfortunately, because one of them, very specific person, they all lost their memories. And that person took full advantage of it. They twisted memories, moved truths around, fed everyone a false reality piece by piece. They turned people against each other, made them forget why they had come in the first place, and erased themselves from their minds almost completely. So the poor fool at the center of it all ends up believing he's nothing more than a reader trapped inside the fictional world, when in reality he belongs to it more than anyone. I never actually finished that story though. So even if I do not know where they ever reach the future they were trying to save, whenever the whole thing falls apart before they can. And it's crazy. This is stretching, but that's okay. The Song in the Depths. This one is actually not a story I came up with myself. I only copied it into my personal collection. It was the first story I've ever read, the very first. One day, when I was still very young, I simply appeared on the floor. Just like that. The cover was old and brown. Honestly, it scared me a little. I didn't even know what I was looking at. I had never held a book before then. It was a small thing, only a few pages. Some parts were clear enough to follow. Others were strategically cryptic. Some of them I still cannot fully decipher even now. That's the part of why I started learning so many languages in the first place. I wanted to understand it. In the end, I could only piece together fragments. So I gathered what I could, translate and rewrote it into my own collection. It is not much, and a lot of it is me smoothing it out, making it flow like a proper story. Still, let me read it to you. But first, let me set the atmosphere properly. Alright, let me begin. Once the depths were steeped in harmony and peace, the 5 rulers reign over their sacred domains, until one day he appeared. A lone silhouette stood far above, as though the depths were beneath his notice. He floated there with eerie calm, With quiet mockery, he gazed up on the fourth domain. The people of the land looked up and noticed the stranger high above them, and within moments they understood what he was. But by then it was already too late. He raised his hand before them, and the people of the depths witnessed something no soul had ever seen before. The falling of rain, crimson rain, and before him the fourth domain erupted into chaos, shattered by the storm of scarlet. Its land trembled and broke beneath the crimson downpour. Its ruler fell, its people perished with him, and just as suddenly as he had appeared, he vanished, leaving the remaining domains consumed by terror, forever dreading the day. I didn't read the rest. Wow. That was excellent storytelling. I'm sure you got chills. Unfortunately, I don't think I have much of a future as a professional book recyclist. A terrible loss for the world, I know. Anyways, is there anything interesting? It's an interesting story, isn't it? Strange too. Because on the surface, it almost sounds ordinary. If you have read enough stories, the shape of it sounds familiar. The cruel man appears. Innocent people die. Then he vanishes and leaves a ruin behind. It feels so ordinary, which makes me wonder why this one appeared so suddenly. Perhaps I made it without realizing. I was very young then, and there were still so many things I didn't understand. So maybe I took fragments of what little I knew and turned them into a book without meaning it to. I mean, the thing is, I like visual novels because you can pick your way and your what you want to do. But here it seems like everything is forced into one story, basically. So he really wants to use the whole, I think, 40k words in the whole thing, and you have to read through all of it. And there's only like little branches if you fail or succeed in the tasks, like the quizzes. But let's see. The boy, the youth, and the present. No. I'm not really up for that one right now. Sorry. I'm just not in the right state. That story at the moment. Maybe another time. Just not now. Okay, that means we have all the stories. I still have one interesting fact left to tell you. Now that we have talked all about colors, I feel morally obliged to share a fact about one. Well, about one color in particular, purple. Purple used to be a serious status symbol in the human world. Not because people simply decided it looked important, because getting that color was absurdly expensive. That is actually true, and that's why so little flags can turn purple. There was even a famous shade called royal purple, often connected to something known as Tyrian purple. Honestly, the amount of names and shades people can create for a single color is a little frightening. And the way they made that purple was even stranger. It came from sea snails, which sounds almost elegant for about 1 second, until you learn how many sea snails were needed to make a tiny amount of dye. An unreasonable amount. The whole process was slow, expensive, labor intensive, and apparently smelled horrible. Which meant the final dye cost a fortune. And once something costs a fortune, humans immediately decide it belongs to nobles. That is how it goes in royal reputation. Not just because it looked beautiful, but because most ordinary people could never afford to wear it. Oh, perhaps I should start wearing purple. It would suit my royal presence rather well. I still have one interesting fact. You can really not progress unless you click through the whole thing. It is absolutely crazy. What happens if we click skip? Where are we skipping to? Want a joke before anything else? No, I don't want a joke. I still have another interesting fact, and like it doesn't end. Like I want to progress. You know what is creepy about time, koala? It does not live in your head as one fixed thing. It changes depending on what you feel. When you are bored, time starts dragging itself across the floor. Not because it's actually slower, but because your mind has nothing interesting to hold on to. So it starts gnawing on the seconds instead. It notices every little moment, and that makes each one feel heavier. Here just something similar but sharper. When sometimes feels dangerous, your brain becomes frantic and alert. It pays attention to everything. And because it's taking it so much at once, the moments feel stretched. Like the world suddenly slowed down just to watch you suffer through it. And then there's the opposite, when time seems to run away from you. Usually it isn't time speeding up, it's just you forgetting to measure it. When you're absorbed in something, your attention is occupied. It stops checking the invisible clock on the back of your mind. And later, when you look up, it feels like the hours simply evaporated. So, yes, time is not only measured, it's interpreted. And your emotions can rewrite the script, which is a little terrifying if you think about it. That means the way you experience your life is not only shaped by what happens, but by what your mind does in it, by what lingers on, by what it magnifies, on what it lets slip away. If you ever stop to think about how much power that gives you, how much you can shape your own life for better or worse, just though the way you feel and focus. Humans are really frighteningly powerful. You know, I want to sleep a little deeper in your mind. We already played around with knowledge and quizzes before, but that's not what I mean this time. I'm interested in how much you know right now. I'm interested in how you think. Could circle around it, be subtle, poke here and there and pretend I'm not studying you. But where's the fun in that? Let us be direct. We're going to do a rapid little storm of philosophical questions. You answer, I observe. And then I'll do my best to read that mysterious little mind of yours. Alright. Focus now. Don't overthink. Don't polish your answer. Just choose the first thing your mind reaches for. Is the cup half full or half empty? Always half full. Is change a gift or a threat? Change is a gift. Is silence peaceful or uncomfortable? Silence is peaceful. Is hope strength or suffering? Hope is strength. Would you rather be safe or free? I don't know. To be honest, I think rather be safe. Is peace something you find or something you make? You make peace yourself. Is love something that protects you or something that traps you? Something that protects you. Is longing beautiful or cruel? Longing is cruel. Is it better to belong or to remain? Is it better to belong or to remain yourself? I don't know, remain? Is routine comforting or suffocating? Routine is super comforting. Would you rather know what you want or know who you are? Rather know what I want, I guess. Is patience strength or just slow suffering? Patience is strength. Is desire something that guides you or misleads you? Something that guides me? If someone hurts others because they're... What? If someone hurts others because they are hurting too, should they be judged or pitied? They should be judged. Is forgiving someone mercy or surrender? That's mercy. Is revenge justice or hunger? Revenge is hunger. If a person has suffered enough, does that excuse that they become what they become or not? Doesn't excuse it. He's growing, I think. Is it crueler to destroy someone's hope or to let them keep a false one? Uh, I don't think it's cruel to destroy someone's hope. I feel like it's cruel to give them a false one. Like if you keep the hope up on something like a job that doesn't you apply to and they never really get you there. They put you in an interview or love life. The partner doesn't say yes or no, whatever. I think that's way more crueler than just simply saying, yo, you can't have the job, yo, we can't be a couple, whatever. If a person is only good because they are watched, are they good? Merely controlled. They're merely controlled. Is it more terrible to lose your future or your past? Oh my god, I think it's more terrible to lose your future. And what if you're destined to lose both? What then? What is someone supposed to do with that? If the past is already gone and the future feels locked in place, if there's nothing left to return to and nothing ahead that can still be changed, what does a person like that do? Haha, sorry. I got a little too lost in the question. These sorts of thoughts have a way of dragging me deeper if I let them. Don't worry. I think I want to take a little break from talking about things. Is something wrong? I seem a little bit down. I think I'm stuck in my own head again, overthinking. Or perhaps something a little worse, but it will pass. The thing is, I think I will stop at this point because I like the general story. I just dislike how it's stretched, and I know that I will probably explore the next or an additional 2 to 3 hours with the simple story. Basically because we have to do every single quiz, every single story, every single game, every single joke, every single fact, and some of them are actually quite good, but I don't like the whole stretch of the story. I don't like that all the 40k words he is advertising in his itch.io page are stretched into this story, and you basically have to listen to like 35% or 35k out of 40k words, and you have no real choice to not do it. So, on that end, I will no longer play the visual novel. And yeah, for my own sanity, I will cancel it here. But, anyways, thank you so much for watching. And I still hope you had a great time. And I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.